Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. And here's the meme of the day brought to you by 5mind.com. Well, it's been less than frickin' 24 hours since Kash Patel and the FBI conducted a legal raid in Fulton County, gaining access to all their stored paper ballots. Less than 24 hours, and already, just scratching the surface looking at a few thousand ballots, it appears we've already found something. It appears there's already evidence of some funny business with these mass mail-in paper ballots. Yeah, I guess the totally perfect, totally audited, totally confirmed 2020 election isn't actually so perfect after all. No, it appears the only thing that's perfect, especially coming out of Fulton County, are those already known, perfect, no crease, looking like they were just freshly printed paper ballots with perfectly filled in circles. Absolutely crazy that we've been gaslit for friggin' 5 years straight, as if we're crazy, kooky, deranged conspiracy theorists for having asked questions relating to the authenticity of this election, or the 2020 election rather. It appears there might actually be some there, and well, we're going there. Let me show you guys exactly what happened here. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so exactly like I said, less than 24 hours later, and already we got this video dropping. Take a look at this ballot analysis.
If you think that maybe that's just a mistake or just a coincidence, here's the next one that shows. You can see Republican is written there, Republicans written there. This is ballot 61. This is ballot number 2. And then each one of them even has this little dot in the Fannie Willis.
Okay, and do you have more of those?
We have the entire batch. There's 62 images in here total, and I didn't even get a chance to go through all of them. But these are the most obvious ones where it's clear that it's the same. This one's got the little tail on the side.
So do you know the numbers of these total batches? Like, I
don't remember what the totals were when the batches. I don't think they weren't disparate. They were fairly close. But the simple fact that they occurred.
So if you see that little bubble right there, this is one image. Here's another image.
Exactly the same.
Exact same. And the batch number? Was it 5162?
Well, so scanner 5162.
Okay, scanner.
Batch number 235, image number 92, matches the same scanner 5162, batch 234, image 33.
That is absolutely wild. And well, I guess the context isn't exactly clear. It may appear as if, you're just looking at regular ballots there, but if you didn't catch it, no, these are not regular ballots. Something here is highly irregular. And what he's pointing out here is that all of these ballots appear to be filled out by the same person. The way those little circles are marked, the circle that you got to draw black in to signal who you're voting for the ballot tabulator to then be able to identify which selection was made, you'll notice that many of these ballots appear to be filled in with the exact same stroke, with a little tail end there, indicating that it's possible that either a machine was doing it, or maybe the same person filling in these ballots over and over again, voting on behalf of other people and then mass submitting those ballots. My friends, that is highly illegal and suggestive of massive, coordinated election fraud. The exact same thing they told you was impossible. The most secure election ever, and that was always the biggest red flag. Not to just be saying that the election is trustworthy, but to make the claim that it's the most secure election ever on the same year that the election laws were changed locally and ballots were just mailed out in mass to people. We saw massive stacks of unfilled ballots sitting in landfills, discarded in trash bins. Knowing the glaring issues, the obvious issues, the potential for fraud, and then for Democrats to say, shut up, peasant, don't ask any questions. Not only was the election totally legitimate, but it's the most legitimate, most secure result ever in American history. To make that claim is a obvious massive red flag, and now on top of that red flag, we've got red flags out the damn wazoo, one after another. And of course what we're currently seeing here seems to line up exactly with what was being accused, what was being alleged by the whistleblowers back in 2020. I mean, we remember the claims, right? The claims of duplicate ballots.
Ballot images, and over 4,000 of them have impossible duplicate timestamps. About one ballot can be scanned per second. Well, we've got 4,000 that have exactly identical timestamps, and if you can, I don't know if you can see that, but we'll be able to get you the slides. You can see that they all have 11/1940 on November the 5th. They all have the exact same timestamp. So that is not possible. 3 to 8 ballots were scanned in 1 second. It's not possible. So it appears that these may have been inserted, but the bottom line is we can't authenticate all these duplicate ballots, these 4,000 duplicate ballots.
Ballots with the exact same timestamp. That's, of course, literally impossible. These ballot tabulators, they're going through these ballots electronically, and of course that happens by virtue on interval, right? Let's say you're doing one ballot a second, well then every single ballot should be timestamped 1 second in between. Let's say you're doing 1/10 of a second, well then every ballot should be differentiated on the timestamp by exactly 1/10 of a second. But to have ballots at the exact same timestamp, duplicate ballots, obviously, that doesn't make sense. But then there was the other claim of the perfectly filled in ballots. Here's the affidavit from Georgia. Quote, I was at the World Congress Center on Saturday, November 14th, 2020. I was certified as a Fulton County recount observer. I observed many boxes of absentee ballots or mail-in ballots being counted. Many of the boxes of ballots had voted for 100% for Biden and 0 for Trump. The ballots appeared to be perfectly filled out as if they were pre-printed with presidential candidates selected. They did not look like a person had filled this out at home. All of them looked alike. Me and other observers wrote down which batch headers and box numbers ranges were suspicious. I created a spreadsheet with a list of batch headers. And so basically they had these perfect ballots that looked pre-printed, perfectly filled out the exact same way with the same kind of, let's call it stamped or written footprint or fingerprint, and so many of them coming in 100% for Joe Biden. Make it make sense. Now, of course, the left will tell you, oh, but recount. There were 3 recounts in Georgia. One of them was a hand recount, and they all found that Joe Biden won. Even Brad Raffensperger said so. He's a Republican. Yeah, again, showing that these people are either disingenuous or dumb. A hand recount is not an audit. If you're just recounting the same ballots and just accepting all the potentially fraudulent ballots in the same way, well then what does that do for anyone? The accusations here, the whistleblower allegations, have never been thoroughly investigated. And that, my friends, is an utter disgrace, especially considering everything we know. I mean, we saw all those videos of quote-unquote ballot stuffers. Now, in some cases, ballot harvesting is legal, but in many states it's not. In fact, in Georgia, ballot harvesting is highly restricted. Quote, Georgia does not allow unrestricted third-party collection of absentee ballots in the way that the term is often used, where groups or workers go door to door to gather large numbers of ballots. Only the voter, their immediate family member, or someone living in the same household can return the voter's absentee ballot on their behalf. And so now the question comes, well, were there mass ballot harvesting schemes going on in Georgia? Is that what we're seeing here? And in these cases of these potentially duplicate ballots, not just the timestamp duplicates, but also the potential duplicate ballots with the same votes and the same handwriting or the same signature, let's call it markings, were these cases where people were going around and collecting mass ballots, voting on behalf of other people and then shoving them in the boxes. Or other accusations that we've seen, other allegations relating to people working in nursing homes, collecting all these mass ballots that were mailed out to all these registered voters who potentially have dementia or potentially are extremely old and aren't necessarily paying attention to what's going on in politics. And then you have these workers going around collecting all these ballots, filling them all the same way, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, harvesting these ballots illegally and then voting on behalf of other people. Or maybe the Act Blue phenomenon. I'm just voting for dead people or borderline dead people or people who don't even know that they're registered to vote, people who had no intention of voting, but somehow the Democrats got their ballot, or maybe people were being paid to hand over their ballots and vote for Kamala Harris. Again, how do you freaking audit that? That's another question, and that's exactly why mail-in ballots, mass unrestricted mail-in ballots, make no freaking sense. There's so much money in politics. You're telling me a political party can't go door to door handing people $50, $100, saying, hey, give me your ballot, I'll vote on your behalf, or I'll give you $100 to fill in the ballot the way I say, and you have people on the ground doing this by the thousands. It's not far-fetched to say that that could flip an election. I mean, Georgia flipped with 11,000 votes, if I'm not mistaken, just a little over 11,000, maybe 11,700. To be honest, I think if I was really motivated in a month or so, I could probably gather around 11,000 votes if I really tried to. But anyways, it looks like we might finally get some answers. And that, of course, as I keep arguing, that should have been the baseline expectation since the start. And well, Kash Patel might just deliver. I won't give him full credit just yet, but it appears we might be going in that direction. Anyways, that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.